And we are coming down in 3, 2, 1. Welcome to Getting Sports with Drunk. I am the Red of the Red Baron, joined by...
The Maskers Massey.
And that's it. Just us two.
Just us.
The Riddler...
Setting sail once again together.
That's right. Riddler may join us in a little while, and I'm not expecting Souls or Machine Washable, but that's okay. We're here, and that's all that matters.
Yeah, because we're the most important of the five.
That's right. We're not vain or anything. It's fact. It's fact.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
they also all suck.
And you just can't change it. Just can't change it.
No, you can. We're just that great.
That's right. Mass, you drinking anything tonight?
I'm finishing off that Cristalino tonight.
Did you have that? Was that 750?
I think it was. And I got the bottle downstairs. I don't have it right in front of me.
That's all right.
That is from the Riddler collection.
And you've enjoyed that immensely. I've kind of followed the Massey saga of liquors that you've enjoyed, and it just
Mass is a big fan of tequila.
It kind of caught me like by surprise. I don't know why. It feels like it just came out of nowhere, and then hey, big tequila guy all of a sudden.
So I have always relatively. I have a higher tolerance for tequila and a higher bounce back for tequila than I do for most other liquors.
Mm-hmm.
When I was working at the hotel, a friend of mine had just had hernia surgery, so a bunch of us went over to go check on him. And at that time at work, I had been told that there was a hiring freeze, and that included all promotions, especially one that I was due up for at that time, till at least the end of the year. So I was a little bit ripshit. So we go to our friend's house, and I said, you know what? I'm pissed. I don't have work tomorrow. I'm getting fucking ripped tonight. And I said, you know what? I'm thinking of a number 1 through 10, and whoever guesses the number gets to pick what I'm drinking tonight. And one of my other friends looks at me, without missing a beat, just goes, 7, you're drinking tequila tonight. And I said, fuck. So I did. It was an interesting night. I went through an entire bottle of Jose Cuervo by myself.
There you go.
And it was a 750. It was over the course of a lot of hours.
But it's ripping shots.
Ripping shots, pouring full glasses, and just chugging them, mixing it with stuff. It was,
oh my God.
It was a long night. There are still texts that exist that I sent to another friend of mine, just completely slurring every text that I send. It's like, I can't feel my face and other stuff like that. These texts still exist, and we have them saved.
Well, good. I mean, that type of documentation cannot be passed up.
Oh, absolutely not. But the thing that was amazing to me is I went to bed pretty late that night. I probably went to bed at 1 o'clock. And for those who know me, I am not a morning person in any way, shape, or form. I was up at 7:45 the next morning, bright-eyed and cheery. And that's what I learned. Tequila does not give me a hangover.
Oh, there you go.
And then I picked up a little bit more on it when we went on our honeymoon to Cancun, and there was tequila literally everywhere. And yeah, that has been the story of Mass and the tequila.
Well, yeah, I feel like everybody, especially drinkers, they have their little their niche or just their thing that they like, and I'm happy that I feel like you found yours.
Yeah. I think it's one that surprises a lot of people.
Oh, I mean, it's still. I mean, I'm still like wrapping my head around it.
You know what? I enjoy it. I'm just sad that it's one of the more expensive ones to really get into.
Yeah, It's one of those things too that like I don't have like a sophisticated enough palate or trained enough to be like, oh, well, this is a higher grade because X, Y, and Z. I wish I could get to that point. Whatever type of like schooling, or whatever. But like I like tequila, but my appreciation for it is not as such, just because I don't have that ability to be like, oh, well, this is better because.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be truthfully honest with you. I spend a lot of time. There is a very specific tequila subreddit, and I spend a lot of time on there just saying, "Hey, listen, I finished this bottle. I liked this about it. I didn't like this about it. What do you guys recommend?"
Mm-hmm.
And just take a couple different recommendations from there. Usually, see what the top 2 most popular ones are. Go see what I can find, and that's where I'm going.
Now, before we... oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say, before we get off on too much of a tequila tangent, do you like mezcal? I enjoy mezcal a lot.
Yes, I do enjoy mezcal.
I like it because I'm a big Scotch guy, as you know, and the one aspect is the smokiness in Scotch that I really enjoy, and mezcal hits that right on the nose for me.
Yes,
especially
it absolutely does.
That tequila type flavor, but then that smoky finish. Oh my god! I've anytime like we go out and it's like we'll call it a Mexican restaurant, whatever, a place that serves like margaritas like exclusively. First thing I'm looking for is there a mezcal margarita on this menu, and how many can I have now?
Going aggressive right off the bat. I like it.
So good. So good.
Yeah, I mean, I really do enjoy mezcal. I think I trend more towards a Blanco tequila, but I do enjoy a nice reposado every now and then. Mm-hmm. What did Paul get me that was before the Cristalino?
Oh, God. I'm trying to think. You had...
See if I can find where it is. It wasn't 1942. It was the other bottle that looks like 1942.
Yeah, I kind of recall, but I don't remember off the top of my head what it was.
Whatever it was, it was Primavera Reposado.
Okay.
That was very good. I enjoyed that a lot. Friend of ours had their wedding a couple years back, and all the groomsmen spent time kind of like we did for Kyle's, just sitting down. He bought like 3 bottles of 1942, and we were just sipping that pretty much the entire day. It was fantastic. Yeah, big tequila drinker.
Yeah.
Big fan.
Well, very nice. Well, that's what the mass is sipping on tonight.
Yep.
I'm on to my second beer out of the New Belgium Voodoo Ranger IPA pack. This is the Voodoo Vice IPA at sitting at 7.1%. The can mass is awesome. I got to send a picture to you.
Yeah, definitely text my picture.
They have their big thing is they have like the skull. That's like their mascot, if you will. So basically, it's like the Miami Vice, kind of like. Why can't I think of the Al Pacino with Scarface look? White suit, gold chain, and then just a skull. It's so cool looking, and it's kind of got that we'll call it that sunburst color for the can.
I tell you what, Miami Vice, like the pink and teal like color scheme, might be one of my favorite color schemes to ever exist.
Yeah, it definitely underrated.
I love everything that they do with it. Like GTA Vice City was fantastic. The Heat jerseys that are in the Vice colors are,
yeah, that's a prime uniform.
Yeah, there's just a lot of great stuff that comes out of that color scheme. Big fan of that.
So I'm excited to break into this.
But
before we do that, got some toasts.
Yeah, I got a toast of excellence and dish excellence at the same time.
I like that.
I'm pulling overachiever. Kendall.
Yes.
Did you know that in his last 4 games, Julio Rodriguez has as many hits as the entire New York Yankees team?
I think I saw that stat. It was like 17 or something like that, right?
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Which is, again, test of excellence for Julio, test of disexcellence for the fucking Yankees.
Yeah, I saw that sort of in passing. I'm like, no way. And sure enough, like a quick check of the box score, and the woeful Yankees could back up
4
that.
games, 17 hits.
I mean,
that's more than 4 hits a game.
Yeah.
That's nuts.
Good on
Kid's
him.
pretty good.
Yeah.
Kid's pretty good, and I believe is signed with the Mariners through 2032?
Could be right. I mean, that's
Let me see.
it's a long contract, but that's kind of the trend with some of these guys. Lock them up.
Yeah, 2032.
Yeah. Hopefully you can keep up that consistency, because that's a fun team. That's a team that deserves to win. They've sucked for a long time.
I mean, fuck them because they're Seattle, but they are a fun team to watch.
Hey, separation of football, baseball, church, and state.
Yeah. Fuck Seattle. It's a shitty city as it is. That goes out to all you listeners out there who live in Seattle. Your city is shitty.
I cannot confirm. I've never been. I will not speak ill of the city until I
I
can
don't
witness
have
it.
to know that it's shitty. Also, I can't believe I said that without stumbling over those words.
I mean, that was good.
Pretty impressed.
Just went right for the slit the throat right out of the gate.
Yeah, no, fuck them. Fuck that city. Kendall, what do you got for your toast?
I have 2 toasts. The first one was so ridiculous. I can't remember who posted originally, but there's a small wrestling promotion somewhere, and the creativity behind this is just unbelievable. The guy wrestled a tent. Go and search this.
All right.
It is.
I have seen stuff like this, and I love it and I'm confused by it at the same time very often.
Massey, this was a masterpiece. For as ridiculous as this is, to be able to entertain a crowd of people by wrestling an inanimate object and have it be good, I think that speaks volumes to wrestling.
So here's the
as a
question.
whole.
Here's the question.
All right.
Was it really good?
Listen, I watched, it was like the snippet pilot package that was like a minute and 10 seconds long. The match itself was probably only about 5 minutes, because let's be real, it couldn't be a 15-minute thing. It's not that funny to have it last that long. 5 minutes is probably the right amount of time. But he did everything that like you would want. The tent was able to throw him over the top rope and like breaking like holds. It is so ridiculous. That is like the creativity to pitch that to whoever is like, hey, I'm gonna go do this. And
so again, I'm gonna ask you a question. Do you think it was creativity, or do you think the dude got really, really high? I was just like, let me wrestle. I
think it's a little bit of both. He's like, hey, I had this idea, and like, well, we got nothing else planned, so why don't you give it a shot? We'll see how it goes. I mean,
I do have to respect the.
And the thing is,
did he commit fully to the bit?
Oh yeah, I mean,
all right, so I have to respect that.
I don't know. The thing is, too, I saw it, and I assume it was recently. I don't think it was like an old video that popped up. Because
let's see.
I follow like a lot of like wrestling pages and whatnot, so I get a lot of stuff that is relevant and not. And this kind of came across. I don't even know. Maybe it was like a Barstool package or something.
Looks like it's only a month old.
So I mean, fairly recent.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not like it's something.
Pro wrestling is fake. Explain this.
Yeah, that's like the caption is usually like that. It's.
Is it just a dude in like a green tank top and khaki shorts?
I think so, and it's like it's like a medium sized tent.
Oh my! Like a blue
yeah
tent?
Right.
The dude just climbed inside the tent. This is the stupidest shit I've ever seen. Big fan.
And the crowd is like into it. Like
big fan of this.
And second toast I saw, actually I'm pretty sure Barstool Sports did actually post this. They were interviewing Mike Francesa for something else, I'm sure. And they asked him about Frank the Tank. Now, Mass, you know what Frank the Tank is, right?
Well, of course I know what
yeah.
Frank the Tank is.
So they ended up bringing him in, and then the two guys are just like they're just like broing out. It was like a totally random thing, and you could kind of see like the rest of the people who were doing the initial interviews, like, huh, this actually might have some legs here.
There's an entire thing. It's an hour and 45 minutes long. This is great. I'll have to watch that at some point, but keep going.
Oh, it just like I'm not a huge Mike Francesa fan. I respect him. I think for talk sports radio to be able to go on and be able basically just to talk to yourself when you're not taking phone calls. It takes a lot of skill and to be interesting doing it. It's a lot of great ability. So respect him there. At times he's kind of a bore and a know-it-all, and I'm sure a liar, but he was entertaining when he was on the Fan. So listening to him and Frank the Tank kind of talk, it was amusing just because I knew both the people like separately and like their amount of like fandom or whatever. So it was just interesting to kind of see that, and it was fun. So yeah, that was my Toastmaster.
You lost me there for a second.
Lost you for a second. That's all right. I was kind of finishing up my point anyway. I was gonna. It's just, and I just talked about.
That sounds like a lot of fun. I think I might have to go give that a listen to. But yeah, fuck Mike Francis.
Right. But it's one of those things too. It's like, hey, imagine like you do put those two like on a show together. It would get old probably pretty quick.
Sure.
But
just the novelty of it happening.
Exactly.
It reminds me of a situation like, you ever see, Foo Fighters did a cover of Never Gonna Give You Up with Rick Astley?
I have not seen it, but I'm sort of aware of that happening.
It happened, and it's a fantastic cover, but it's like, if you had to listen to like his entire like listen to him go on tour and do this constantly, very boring. The fact that it happened like spontaneously, fucking awesome.
Right, that's a great one-off. But it was like you're saying, if that's part of like the normal like touring set, it would lose its magic instantly.
Yeah, because it's two things together that you didn't expect to go together.
Right,
but they don't really go together.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just enough. Like the risk factor is like when you hear it out loud, it's like, all right, that's gonna be terrible. And then when they end up pulling it off, that's the like, real
man. That's pretty good.
Yeah. All right, hey, let's crack them. Crack them or
two
sip them.
Two very good toasts.
I'm very disappointed. You've seen the studio, and Paul had got me the mini fridge, and I finally got around to plugging it in. I thought you were going to talk
about the glasses that I broke.
Oh well, that. Separate story. Separate. We'll bring that up another time. But I don't think the fridge works.
No.
I've had it plugged in now for like 3 days. I can hear it. The compressor is cycling. The light works, but it's not.
Do you have it too close to the wall?
So it's not. Now the one thing I could think of is there is like another sign on the flip side of the fridge, but it's separated by, I don't know, like 3 or 4 inches. It's got enough like ventilation. So
I'd still take that off and move it like far away from the wall and just see what happens. Yeah. If that doesn't work.
I mean, it's no secret. I mean, it's converted. I am a dope. I will overlook the simplest things, but I can't think of what I'm doing wrong.
Everything.
Well, yeah. I was just explaining. I finally got around to plugging in the fridge you gave me, and it's not getting cold. It's working. It's running, but it's not getting cold, and I don't know what I'm doing wrong.
I don't know. Maybe refrigerant goes bad.
Maybe.
You know what would have been so funny is if Paul was just like, yeah, I know. I was just putting the time bomb in your house and just waiting for you to finally plug it in.
So, no, the funny part is I was gonna actually text you tomorrow and be like, hey, if you're not going to use it, can I have it for a customer?
And that's like, it could be something really simple, and I'm just an idiot. But I've tried everything.
Yes.
I've messed with the temperature gauge. I've let it sit and then replugged it in. I don't know. I've read the little manual. I don't know.
Yeah. Paul.
Yes.
We just finished Toast of Excellence. You got one?
I do, but I think like an asshole, I deleted it. Last night I was on this like tear of like like cleaning stuff out of my phone, and yeah, so I think I probably deleted it. But let me see. Uno momento, por favor.
No problem. That's something I need to do.
Can be granted.
I feel like I just got like.
What were your guys' toasts?
Mine was a toast of excellence and disexcellence at the same time. Over the last 4 games, Julio Rodriguez has had the same amount of hits as the entire New York Yankees team.
Nice.
Both very impressive and hilariously bad. And then Kendall had 2.
I had Paul. I think you may have seen this. The guy who wrestled the tent in that like independent promotion.
Oh yeah.
So good. And I saw that like Barstool had Mike Francesa and Frank the Tank on, and they were just like broing out, and I just thought that was so great.
Well, I think I might have to dip back into the Riddler collection pretty soon. I just am drinking the last glass of Cristalino.
Uh-oh, Spadudio.
It's a good thing I see you this weekend, huh?
Do you?
Yeah, our draft is this weekend.
No, yeah. I have 2 toasts. One is to the I forget what they called it, but the Little League Classic or whatever it was called.
Yep.
In Williamsburg.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. That was the Phillies and Nationals.
Yep. Nationals won. I thought that was a pretty cool.
So what was that? I saw it last night on my phone, but I was doing other stuff, so I don't know what
Basically,
it was.
so the Philly, because when the Little League World Series is on, it basically kind of trumps everything on like ESPN coverage.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Except for preseason football games. The real sport.
Yep.
But anyway, the Little League World Series is just it's a if you follow sports as a generic thing, the Little League World Series is like right on par with, not in terms of like investment, but in terms of viewership size, it's right up there with like March Madness. For like the non-major 4 sporting events, it's right up there with those things. And so I mean, I don't know why they did it. I think this is the first year they've done it. But
Interesting. Okay.
But I think it's just like a way to kind of celebrate it.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, yeah, that's pretty cool. I mean,
yeah, I think it was the first year they did it. I can't think of any other time.
Yeah, it was funny though because it was the Nats kind of gave the fuck you to the Phillies because it was in whatever town it was in, which was basically a home game for the Phillies, but it was registered on the schedule as a home game for the Nationals.
Okay.
So it was funny because it was basically like the Nationals won an away game.
Yeah.
Nationals have actually been playing pretty good baseball the past month. I've been very surprised. My other toast of excellence was just to something that just popped up on my feed. This sports page I follow just kind of brings back things that you forgot happened.
Mm-hmm.
It's called The Unforgotten Heroes. So it's basically like stuff involving players people don't remember. So it's not going to be like you're never going to turn this on and it's going to be Odell Beckham's catch. You know what I mean?
Right.
But that's never going to be on it. Instead, hold on one second, guys.
Yep.
Sorry, I'll be right back. Oh,
yeah.
Samantha's saying hi to me. Never mind.
Oh.
Wait, hold on one sec. Sorry.
Holding on.
I'd say that would be funny though. Like a page like forgotten sports moments, and it's just major sports leagues over and over.
Yep.
It's like I bet you.
Funny to think about.
It's like I bet you don't remember this.
So the toast was to the 2018 season. Does anybody here remember Ryan Brazier or Ryan Brazier?
I don't think so.
I don't.
Pitcher
think so.
for the Boston Red Sox.
Doesn't
in 2018, Alex Rodriguez was kept stepping out of the box and calling for time, So Ryan Brazier audibly and very loudly screamed to home plate, "Get your fucking ass back in the box."
Hilarious.
And then proceeded to strike him out with a fucking fastball down the dick.
That's awesome.
Hilarious.
Yeah, pretty awesome. Pretty awesome. And the best thing that happened to me this weekend, if you guys did that, I don't know if you did it.
No, not yet. But lead us off.
Oh, okay. All right. Oh, I'm drinking a Pepsi, by the way. I didn't have any time to stop today.
Hey, it's okay.
And the best thing that happened to me this weekend was what I learned in boating school is...
What I learned in boating school is...
I'm trying to think. I don't think I really had anything miraculous happen that I can think of. I mean, so probably the best thing that happened this weekend was I got out and played a round of disc golf, and then I made a pretty good pasta dish Saturday night. That's probably about it.
Hey, it sounds like a good...
Yeah. It's kind of a run-of-the-mill weekend. Nothing good, nothing bad.
Did you play Leftberry?
Yeah. I played Leftberry.
Now he went back up to Maple.
Yeah.
Man, what a commitment.
It was funny. I was talking to Mike about it. I was like, "Hey, how bummed would you be if you called me Saturday morning at like 7:30 to see if I want to play disc golf?" And they said, choked. And I responded with a picture of me on the tee pad of hole one. He goes, "I'm not going to lie, wouldn't be a fan."
Oh, man, I wish we could have thought of that, taking a whole bunch of pictures from our round just to stash them for moments just like that.
That would have been very funny.
Oh, these great moments. Massey, how about you?
These allergies are really making me mad.
Yeah, I've had a rough go of it.
What did I do this weekend? Good.
Best thing that happened to Massey was the hernia he got from lifting his cock.
Do you have a hernia?
From lifting his cock.
I don't know. I guess the thing I was happiest about this weekend was I finished my 5 paper/projects I had to get done by midnight last night. Finished with an hour to spare.
There you go.
Hey, weight off your shoulders.
Yeah.
10 years ago, you would have did it with a minute to spare. So
it's true. I'm getting
progress.
Old.
What I'm learning is
getting old.
If you take a college course when you're 80, you'll actually get it done on time.
Doubtful. There's a finite curve. It's a bell curve. You gotta find the peak and then write it back down.
Facts.
Mass.
Yeah.
What about you, Reed?
My best thing, I think, was I've been doing this Bluefish tournament now for a couple years, and I had to do running out the scales to the Connecticut locations this past Saturday. And I've done it long enough now that I sort of have like a decent relationship with some of these, owners. So I'll go into some of these places, and it's kind of like the Norm from Cheers like moment. And I don't know, it's dumb, but I get some joy out of it. It's like, hey, got the scale.
What did I think the thing was like Labor Day weekend?
So it's next weekend, but it's a lot of other like legwork that has to be done.
Yeah, basically, Kendall's just a slave, the connoisseur, for the entire month of August every year.
And I've actually pulled back a little bit this year, but he's right.
Yeah, Kendall refuses to delatch from the teat.
Listen,
that sounds like Kendall.
It sounds lame, but it was like my thing. And I in my time at the radio station, there was a lot of things that were just, hey, you're just going to do this. But I took it in stride, and I made it like mine. And I'm having trouble letting go. And I don't know why, but it's just how it is.
Do you think the prison inmates that serve chili every single day when they get out are like, I got to get back to jail, man. I don't know who I am without scooping this slop onto trays.
Maybe.
Yeah, I don't think so. I think that person is you. You're Brooks from The Shawshank Redemption.
Oh, man. Brooks was here.
Ending. Same ending, too.
Yeah. Gotta find a stool.
That was a dark joke.
But
Pretty
yeah,
funny though.
that's it.
I had another good thing that happened this weekend. I was looking at pictures on Facebook, and I stumbled onto a picture of Chris Massey, and it's always a nice revelation when I realize how beautiful my best friend is.
Oh, thanks, buddy.
He's so handsome.
What picture was
Handsome
it?
devil.
You know who's not handsome? That Mike Mock. He's not handsome.
Fuck that guy.
That guy,
Really stick it to him where he can't defend himself. I like it.
he's not handsome.
I mean, I'll text him that I said it.
Don't worry, I'll call myself out. I got no problem. Wowzers. So, I had something that I wanted to say, but I don't remember what it was. Hey, do you guys think, do you guys dislike the approach a lot of NFL teams are taking to this new, not new, it's happened last year too, but like this three game preseason?
What do you mean?
So, like, the Bears, for example, they didn't have their starters didn't take, with the exception of rookies, none of the projected starters took any reps in the second preseason game. They just basically just did what they had the contact practice with the Colts during the week,
Mhm.
and they had the game against them. So they were like, yeah, we think we learned enough. We don't want to send them out there if we don't have to. And then you have like teams like the Titans. I don't think any starter on the Titans has even taken a snap at all yet.
We've been doing that since McVay's been here, and that's when we had 4 preseason games. None of our starters ever played. Again, aside from rookies, but I think they only played in 1 or 2 games.
Right, but like the Titans aren't going to suit anybody up for any of the games. The Bears have already come out and said that the Bears are leaning towards only having Fields play 1 drive in the third game. I mean, like with 4 games. Like, here's the thing: you don't do anybody the first week, or you like, and what you would see some teams do, which like the Rams, I think were part of that. Would like the starters would probably play a drive the first week just to shake the rust off.
No,
And then
like for the years that we had that McVay was there, Jared Goff never played in a preseason game, not once. That was the case with all of our starters. It was weird when he started because I know it was seen as very strange at the time. People were writing articles about it. It's like, you want to get these guys ready. That's why there's preseason. Like, nope, I don't want to get them hurt. They're fine.
Well, it is weird, like kind of like what Paul's saying. There's like a recipe to it. The first game, you kind of play 1 series. The second game, you maybe play 2, maybe 3. By the third or fourth game, you're playing like maybe half of the first quarter, and so it's kind of like a buildup. But then there's certain guys like the Tom Brady's of the world and the veteran quarterbacks that really they'll play in the third or fourth game. And that's when they play their 1 drive. But it's sort of like they've earned that, if that makes any sense, or it's just not really required for
Veteran
them.
rest days.
But
this is like, there's some players like Tom Brady, for example. He didn't, after the first 6 years of his NFL career, you didn't really need, all you needed from him was to know that he was mentally prepared for the season, because you knew that you knew what he was doing from a training standpoint on and off season. I mean, but most guys aren't like that. I just think that, like, at what point are we just going to get rid of the preseason? I mean, I don't think the NFL will ever do it because of revenue.
right.
But at what point, like, if
you
you're
needed
not
to evaluate the rookies,
but
roster
but
cuts.
but the thing is like these guys, like the rookies, really most of them really aren't going to get cut. I know there's like some cusp players and whatnot, but these guys are going harder in practice than they are in games. It was like the same thing. Like, everybody was like shitting on, like, the Justin Fields, like, oh yeah, he threw for 129 in those 2 drives he did, but they were for -2, -3, and like +1 yard. And it's like, well, yeah, like the game plan was for him to get out there, get some reps under center, and not get hurt. Like, they weren't gonna let him try to extend a play.
Right.
But like, so then what's the point? Is my question. Like, what's the
I get
point?
it.
Like, just do more of these practices. Do more of these. Have them do like their whatever camp and bullshit. Do a week of practices with a team. Do a week of practices with like another team. A week to get ready for the season, and then the season starts. I don't know. It's just like, why are we doing this?
Yeah, I can see that. I mean, again, I think that there's difference between practices and the preseason games, because if I'm wrong, correct me, but I don't believe that there's actually any tackle in these joint practices. Tackle or not, you need to be able to see that to evaluate it, because even watching...
They tackle in actual practices, though.
Do they, though? I don't think that they do.
The Bears do. I know they do.
I think they do. I think there's certain things like there's not like if you have a free clear like a sack, they don't want you. I think it's kind of like a.
You're not going to do stupid stuff like if you're doing a drill and Tremaine Edmonds breaks free through containment, he's not just going to spear Justin Fields.
Right.
But I've seen like the Bears like in team practices, like Tremaine Edmonds is like taking Khalil Herbert down. The preseason games, that just don't make sense to me. Like, why are we doing them? Especially too, you hear all these coaches come out. All the coaches are trying different things. So you're evaluating your players on things they're not even going to do in the regular season. These guys that might not make the cut, like defense is defense. You know what I mean? Man coverage, tackling, it's all the same shit regardless of what the play is.
Yep.
I mean, positioning, all that stuff like that doesn't change. But like a receiver, if you're like, oh, hey, we want to start, we want to really try out like these, these new screen and like bubble, negative yard passes and all this stuff. And that receiver really struggles with it, and then he gets cut. And then you never run those in the regular season because they didn't work out. It's like, what's the point?
Yeah. Well, go
ahead.
Like
if you're gonna, it's just if you're trying something new, like from a coaching standpoint, all these coaches are always trying new things during the preseason. That's what the preseason is for them. Is it's a fucking simulation for them to try out new coaching strategies. But they're trying it out on players that they're not going to coach. If you're trying to draw up a new route running type, like a new offensive scheme with route running and whatnot, aren't you more interested, if you're the Bears, to see how DJ Moore and Darnell Mooney run it against the real defense than fucking Equanimus St. Brown and Dante?
Yeah, but
I just don't get it.
Well, I think for everything we said before, when it was 4 games, when teams were like actually like following the recipe of kind of you're building up to the start of the season, yeah, these games sort of mattered more than they do now, because now the recipe's changed. Like you're saying, they're trying out stuff that on with players that aren't necessarily going to make the team, or just like stuff that they're never going to use anyway. They're kind of like wasting their time now, but it wasn't always that way. I think there's been a switch. Whether it was last year or the year before, it's somehow different. And I agree with what you're saying and understand. I mean, I do think it is an opportunity for some players to kind of like, hey, this is my time to shine and make the team. But there's flaws to the system now that it's different. It just is.
I don't know. To me, it seems like with the amount of channels that have NFL coverage rights, Fox, CBS, NBC, ESPN, plus the NFL Network. You have all these channels, all these outlets, all these things. It just seems like if you're gonna milk the shit out of this cash cow that is the NFL, do it with better product. Do it with products that, because I refuse to believe that other than dwindling down the last 10 roster spots on a team, 43 to 53, which, let's be real, 43 to 53, those guys aren't playing anyway.
Yeah.
Unless
you're
they're
the 2020 LA Rams.
Huh?
Unless you're the 2022 LA Rams.
Right, well, exactly. Unless there's massive amounts of injuries or we're talking special teams type things. So put out a product. Fucking, you have all these networks. Fucking, why don't you just do a fucking Hard Knocks type thing for every team? Leave HBO to have Hard Knocks, and then do like other stuff with the team, like just more interesting and better product. The preseason football thing has just become blah. It's just like, I mean, it's always been blah, but like I can't even watch my own team do preseason. It's terrible.
I'm an NFL junkie. I'll watch it.
Well, I mean, as you know, I'm a slave to all things football, but I can't. I won't let myself just sit and watch. Like,
I've watched every single snap of every single.
Hey, listen, I'm not discrediting you or saying, "Oh, Mass, you're stupid," because you're not. I mean, if you enjoy it, you should absolutely watch it. But
so here's the only reason why I'm watching it. Half the kids playing are gonna start for our defense this year.
But I mean, like for myself, it's like I'll throw on a game, randomly, whether Pittsburgh or not, and I'll watch for maybe get 2 offensive drives from each team. It's like, okay, then I'm good. I saw what I wanted, and I can move on. There's not enough. There's no merit really to me watching anymore because it's meaningless. It's from a fan. It's meaningless. I mean, I'm not getting paid to watch. I'm not I'm not scouting these guys myself. I've got
the Ravens and Commanders right now.
I think maybe what the NFL should do is they should look into, especially too. I think this could be something that they could do. I think this might be a really good monetary viewership, type thing. They should try to adapt what the NBA does with their own little flip on it. So
their what?
They should try to do what the NBA does with their own little flip on it. So
I don't know what that means.
So they do what the NBA does during the offseason, but put the NFL twist to it. So instead of 3 preseason games, there's 1 preseason game.
Okay.
There's 1 preseason game. We'll call it 2 weeks before the season starts. So if the season's going to start on September 1st, August 14th, 15th, 16th, we have this 1 preseason game. They play an opponent. Then the week after that, they have practices with with the team type of thing. And then the last week before it, they do their own shit back at their facilities to get ready for the season. But prior to all of that, adapt a certain type of, instead of 11 on 11, maybe like a 7 versus 7 type of scrimmagey type thing, and do a summer league where you have, players who are, if you're on your rookie deal, you're eligible to be sent to play for your team. And then make it like a little fucking bullshitty type tournament type thing. Make 2 divisions. It doesn't have to be AFC and NFC because it's preseason. It's like the Cactus League and the Grapefruit League.
Right.
Make 2 bullshit leagues. Both, they all register at a certain location. So like Arlington, Texas, and fucking Los Angeles or something. Spectators can come out and watch. It can be 1 game elimination type of thing or whatever. And then if you're on your, and it basically in the NBA, the summer league is for undeveloped players. It's for G Leaguers, rookies, and second-year players. So
I feel like that's what the XFL is supposed to be.
No, the XFL is supposed to be the G League. That's the idea, is that's going to be like the place where like players who are trying to get into the NBA that weren't drafted. Because that's the only 2 sports that have farm systems are baseball and hockey. You're drafted with the intent, with the knowing that you're probably not suiting up for that team day 1.
Right.
In football and basketball, you're drafted to play. You're not drafted to go down to developmental.
Right.
And usually in the G League world, if you get drafted and you don't make the cut and they put you down to G League, you're staying there forever. You might get picked up on a 10-day contract 3 years from now, but it's not going to mean anything. But do like a type of thing where, you have like a 3-week thing, and you send your fucking people there to watch the young players. And if you're on your rookie deal, you're eligible to go play. Now, there are some exceptions, obviously. So, like, for example, Justin Fields probably would not go to this thing.
Right.
They probably wouldn't send him there. But they can send their, undrafted guy and these types of guys and whatever, and, people and play. And, like, they can even do it where it's like divisions kind of thing. So, like, instead of doing 32 teams, do 16 teams. So all the NFC North guys go and make up an NFC North scrimmage team.
Mm-hmm.
And they play the rest of the league. And, the Packers can send Jordan Love there if they want, the fucking type of thing. Or something like that would be more interesting, at least. You can develop these young guys. You can see, these are the guys that you're not sure if they're going to make the cut. I mean, because let's be realistic. Like, the Deontay Foreman, the Bears signed Deontay Foreman. What has to happen for him not to make the team? The rookie that they drafted has to ball the fuck out in preseason.
Right.
That's just it. That's it. That's the only thing, unless he gets hurt. That's the only thing. If the rookie goes out there and plays like an average 4th-round pick rookie or whatever and doesn't really do much, then they're going to keep him on the roster because they sent the draft pick on him, but Deontay Foreman's going to be the 2.
Right.
So, like, Deontay Foreman isn't playing to keep his job. The rookie's playing to steal the job.
Right.
So, put more emphasis on that. Let these guys get the reps.
Yeah. I'd say that's a good point you made, jumping back a little bit. I mean, I haven't really watched Hard Knocks, like any series of it in any like great depth. I've caught some random things here and there. But if they were to find a way to kind of televise, like, for each and every team, and, they put it on whatever channel, or they combine, snippets of all the teams and to make like longer episodes. I mean, that's kind of like worthwhile because that's happening in sort of real time. They're banging out those episodes week by week.
And it doesn't have to be Hard Knocks, because Hard Knocks they wouldn't be able to do because it would conflict with HBO and there would be a lawsuit and et cetera, et cetera. But the NFL Network, you're going to tell me the NFL Network can't put out a program called, like BTS division by division, behind the scenes with each division, and then you take the division. You're going to tell me people wouldn't tune into this? I know Massey would wet his bed if this was a thing. Behind the scenes, division by division. This week, we go behind the scenes with the NFC West, and then this week we follow, 3rd-year player, blah 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 from the Cardinals. We follow rookie linebacker of the LA Rams. We follow newly signed Geno Smith of the, newly signed franchise quarterback Geno Smith of the Seattle Seahawks. And we follow, fucking so-and-so, of the San Francisco 49ers. And it's like a 3-part series where they like just bounce back and forth between these guys. And you see like the behind the scenes of them in training camp. So you see some stuff like while they're on the practice field, maybe some chippiness happening, whatever, this and that. But then you also like, their rehabilitation, their what they're doing in their off time. You're gonna tell me people wouldn't tune in to watch that?
Yeah. Well, and two, exactly what you're saying. And then you watch an episode, and then let's say it airs like the day before the game is. There's sort of kind of more like an interest of like, let's see if this guy that I watched in this episode is going to play it all in this preseason game.
Or if they did like that summer league type idea they had. I mean, there's a lot of, obviously, like the way I described it probably wouldn't work. I'm not a professional at this stuff, but if they were to do something like that, then you make it like basically like a reality type of show where it's like a behind the scenes with the AFC North, and it follows all the young.
TV.
Huh?
I'd be watching a lot of TV.
But then it's this week we dive into the AFC North rookie draft class as they prepare for their upcoming bout with the NFC South. like how they're preparing and how, and then like, you tell me as a Steeler fan, you wouldn't sit down and watch a rookie linebacker for the Steelers and a rookie corner for the Ravens discuss, what it's like to play for one of the most storied rivalries in NFL history.
Oh, 100%. I'd be watching that.
I just think that there's so much better things they could be doing during this, because the preseason, I don't know. I really refuse to believe the preseason is more beneficial for the actual teams than it is for the NFL's pockets.
Yeah, well, I mean, exactly to your point. Now, it's a little bit. It has to do kind of more with just television in general, but that's why those games are on just like the random local Fox, NBC, affiliate, and it's never like it's like just like a random broadcast crew or someone who happens to like maybe work for Fox, but he's teamed up with somebody who used to play for that team. There's not a lot of money on these games. There just isn't.
It's viewership. That's all it is. They're just getting the numbers.
Yeah. I mean, in fact, we all real quick. We all use the Apollo Group TV, and I couldn't even get like the Pittsburgh Buccaneers when they played. I couldn't even get like whatever the Pittsburgh home crew was. It wasn't even like available. I could find the Tampa Bay one, like that broadcast, but it's
maybe nowhere to look at.
I did a lot of snooping around. I just got the Bucks, no problem, but
so do what you did for the Bucks, but for Pittsburgh.
I tried. It wouldn't find itself.
No. All right. Pretty good discussion on the preseason. What else we got on the docket?
There's another topic that I wanted to talk about, but I can't remember what it was. We've talked about it in the past, and I always bitch about like how they do things, and like I had an idea for it, and now I can't remember what it was.
Football related?
It probably was football related because that's the thing we bitch about the most.
Yeah.
Well, I guess something while you're thinking of it.
We could talk about how stupid the NBA play-in tournament is.
Oh, you're talking about that thing that they're doing?
The in-season tournament? My fucking God.
Yeah. That, when they announced that, and even, a couple weeks now passed, I still don't really fully understand, like, what this draw is going to be like.
They're hoping that it increases viewership because, in the middle of November, nobody, the middle of November is like watching fucking. It's like watching fucking. May. You know what I mean? It's like right. Who cares?
Well, something that I really dislike is that like there's going to be like an additional trophy. So it's like, hey, we happen to win the mid-season tournament. Cool. We'll put it in the spot where our hopefully, NBA Finals trophy will be.
Well, it's just like that's annoying. But the other thing too that's annoying is that it adds like in order to win this, you have to play an 83rd game.
Right.
And because the whole thing counts against your record, right? Your overall record.
All the games. This is the thing that doesn't make any sense. Now, in the NBA, I know that so basically like the way that it's going to work is they're going to have the season mapped out because everybody plays each other anyway a certain amount of times.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So they'll have the season mapped out, but the way it's going to work is like, you don't know who's going to play in the semifinals and the finals, but all the group stage matches, those are all just going to count towards their regular season record, but also be part of the play-in thing. And that's the hope that in the middle of November, like, what Chicago got going on tonight? Oh, they're playing the fucking, they're playing the Jazz. Like, who gives a shit? And it's like, oh, but it's game one of that play-in tournament. Like, oh shit, they're playing for something.
Yeah.
So the whole idea is like, oh, this is meaningful. So we have to watch. Right. But the thing that's is like, let's say the championship for it is the fucking Clippers and the Warriors.
Yeah, who fucking cares?
And it's like, now we have to, change the schedule a little bit because we have to, or or sorry, no, we don't have to. The semifinals. It's Clippers Warriors. All right. Well, now we have to change the way the schedule goes a little bit because they don't play each other again until May. We have to take that May game out because we're putting it in now. Because the semifinals count towards your regular record. It's one of your 82 games played. But then the final game, the championship game, is not part of it. And it happens in the middle of the season.
Yeah. I mean, so to a certain degree, like if they want to make, we'll call it a tradition, something that's just going to be in the league now forever, it has to start at some point. And I guess this coming season is going to be that start. So I'm willing to give it the chance for that aspect. But just in general, this is on, the Kendall Reed list of things that just don't matter. And it's all the people like who complain, baseball is boring. Then don't watch it. I don't need this new thing to get my interest more up on NBA games. If I want to watch a game, I'm just going to watch a game. This is not more enticing to me, or it's just like get invested or don't be invested. I give a lot of credit to Mass. Mass is kind of just took the bull by the horns. It's like, hey, I'm going to start watching basketball. And he has, and he's followed the headlines and whatnot, and he's done a hell of a lot more than I have. And that's people just need to be more like that. If you want to, get it involved or invest in something, then just do it. I don't need this extra thing to get interested. Like it's just it's meaningless.
Yep.
You're meaningless.
Hey, you're right.
And I meant that.
Rude.
Rude.
Kind of harsh.
It's all right. It's all right. My soul is black.
Real bummer because I can't remember what the thing I wanted to talk about was.
Real quick, around the room, how many fantasy football leagues you playing in this year, Massey?
Are we doing one for the show and one in the friend group?
I think we're just doing pick'ems for this.
Then two.
Yeah, the show is just going to be the pick'ems that you're going to be out of by week one.
Three.
Massey already lost the pick'ems this year.
Yeah, I'm not even participating.
Matt, and once they go live, just go through and pick the whole season. That's what I do.
Massey, I'm shocked. Only 2 leagues?
I take a night. I take a night when the pick'em thing. This is what I always do for the pick'ems. This is how I've been doing it every year. The minute it comes out, I pick the first game. So what is it this year? Kansas City, Detroit.
Yep.
So the minute that it goes live, I just pick a winner. So I'll pick Kansas City and I'll put it for whatever points. And then what I do is while I'm watching the game, I just go through and do the whole year. And then every week, if I remember, I go back, I look at it, and I alter it. But then if I forget, at least there's something in there.
Yeah. I do like the pick'ems.
Fine.
I'm just shocked. Oh, go ahead, Paul.
I didn't know. I didn't hear what Massey said.
I said fine.
Is the Mass is usually like a 5 to 6 league guy.
I tell you what, I did 7 last year.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
And I said, fuck that shit. I'm done. I'm doing a league with you guys, and I'm doing a league with my father-in-law, and that is the extent of it. I might do a league at work. I might. If only because I know I can absolutely trounce that entire building, but...
Mass, you want to do a 2-person league, just you and me?
Sure.
Thanks for the invite, guys.
We can't do 3 because then can't do 3 because someone's going to have a bye every week.
Yours is a fair point, Kendall.
No, listen, I totally agree. I just want to be included.
All right, fine. We'll ask Kyle if he wants to do it, and then we'll exclude Mock.
Paul, you just a 2 guy?
How many am I in? It was supposed to be 2. The show league and then Chris's league, but now it's 3.
Oh,
because,
yeah, I forgot about Chris's league.
Yeah, now it's 3 because... Yeah. But now it's 3 because, Kyle recruited me to play in his Burger King work league.
Yeah, and how excited are you for that?
I tell you something, I had the draft last night. I drafted an awful team.
Yeah.
Let's hear it.
I drafted such a shit team. I had the 7th pick. The 7th pick in a 12-person draft might be the worst pick of all time.
Let's hear it. Let's hear your team.
Oh, Kendall, while I pull up the team, why don't you do your...
My team?
Your first car? What?
Well, so I'm in 2 leagues, a potential for a third. I'm also in the Burger King league.
Wait, what about you're not going to do the Aquinas one?
No, I've been booted from the Aquinas League for like the past 3 years. They either like don't do it anymore, or they just don't ask me.
All right, you ready, Mask?
Yeah, let's hear this.
All right. At quarterback, Justin Fields.
Okay.
On
Don't hate it.
On the bench, Derek Carr.
Also don't hate it. Sneaky good pick.
All right, running backs, Saquon Barkley, Najee Harris, Deontay Foreman, Raheem Mostert.
All right.
Wide
I don't
receiver.
hate that.
Wide receivers, Calvin Ridley, Brandon Ayuk, Michael Thomas, Juju Smith-Schuster, Odell Beckham Jr., Darnell Mooney, and Allen Robinson.
All right. 2 of those are a little questionable, but the others I don't think will be terrible.
Who's the second one? Michael Thomas?
Odell Beckham. I don't think that's going to be a good signing.
Yeah, but I figured why not? Who cares if he sucks? You cut him.
Yeah.
I mean, here's the thing. After the 10th round, every receiver has the potential to be cut at any point.
Yes.
I have Jake Elliott and Pittsburgh's defense because Kyle made defense very, very hard, but for some reason made sacks worth 2 points apiece.
A mess.
So I was like, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and wait out on the defense part, and I'm just going to get the Pittsburgh Steelers because they're going to get a fucking million sacks.
That's very funny.
Yep. And then I have Evan Ingram at my tight end spot.
All right, that's probably your weakest spot.
Nah, I don't know though, because I think that the reason I picked Evan Ingram, so like I didn't fall into the trap of picking a tight end early. Because again, if it's not Travis Kelce, it's not worth taking. But what did I say? Oh, I thought that Evan Ingram showed improvements last year, and like they still have what's his face, the receiver.
Yep.
What's his name? Christian Kirk. They just got Calvin Ridley. Trevor Lawrence kind of looked like the guy he was supposed to look like last year. If that improves more, Calvin Ridley is going to, here's the thing. Like, if it improves more and he's slinging the ball, either Evan Ingram's going to grow his spot or he's going to suck and Calvin Ridley's going to get those catches. So
yeah.
When I had Calvin Ridley, I was like, it'll be one or the other. I'll take the gamble and figure out which one.
I mean, I think Calvin Ridley is going to be sneaky good this year.
What's funny is in Chris's league, I have the 12th pick, and everybody keeps trying to trade me for it.
For the 12th pick?
Yeah, because with
the snake.
Yeah, with the snake, it's like with the snake, you either want to be one, two, or like 10, 11, 12. Especially like this year, because like this year, like really. Like if you have the third pick, you're
Who are you picking?
If you have that's the thing is if you have the third pick in a regular draft, if I have the third pick, I'm taking Travis Kelce.
I mean, yeah,
that's what I'm taking. I'm not taking Jamar Chase. I think Jamar Chase is one of the best wide receivers in the game, but I don't trust the offensive line to keep Joe Burrow upright. And if Joe Burrow,
I picked Justin Jefferson over Jamar Chase.
Well, Justin Jefferson's the one.
Oh, sure. All right.
Like, I think Justin Jefferson and Christian McCaffrey are probably 1 and 2.
Yeah.
Which is stupid. I don't think Christian McCaffrey should be the 2.
No, he's going to get hurt this year, and I'm going to smile.
But, like, so, like, all these guys that are, like, 3 and 4 and 5, they're like, oh, hey, I'll trade you for the 12th pick. And I was telling Kendall about it. Like, somebody was trying to trade me the 4th pick, and they were like, I was like, okay. I was like, I'll trade you. I was like, this is what I want, though. And they're like, what do you mean? Yeah. I was like, I want to swap picks for the entire draft. But I was like, in the 5th round, I want, or was it? Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, and so I said, in the 6th round, I want the 12th pick back, and you take the 4th pick in that round. And they were like, oh, why would I do that? And I'm like, well, because I have something you want. You want it from me, so you have to pay for it.
Right. Do you understand how this works, sir?
I'm not gonna like. I said in the text message, I was like, I have a $20 bill, and you have $18. You want the $20. I don't want your 18. So in order for me to take the 18 and give you the 20, you're gonna have to give me something else. You're gonna have to give me at least $2, if not more, worth of value of something else.
Right.
So I said in the sixth round, when it snakes back, instead of waiting to go from 4 to 4, I want to pick at 12, and then you can have the fourth pick. And he was like, "No." I was like, "Well, then have fun at 4." Like, I mean, what the fuck? He's like, "That's not how you're supposed to trade picks." I'm like, what do you mean?" He goes, "You just swap the picks." I'm like, "But I don't want the fourth pick."
Yeah. What are you not understanding?
Right. Like, so then why would you trade? I'm like, well, I would trade if I could get value to make it worth getting the 4 pick. I was like, let's see how this works.
Right. Like, this transcends fantasy football. This is how life works.
Yeah.
I just responded. The conversation stopped. This guy doesn't like me anyway. It's in Chris's league. So my response was just that. My response was, have you never negotiated your pay before? I was like, do you just take the amount of money they think you're worth every week?
I mean, I unfortunately have to do that because mine is a contract that I don't get a choice to change.
So funny.
That is very funny. I don't know how you ever get through life without being able to understand that.
Because like because the thing is like people just assume like, oh, like you want this thing and I want that thing, and it's like, yeah, that does happen, but like not very like
Right.
not all the time.
Very seldom is like that mutual, hey, we want the exact thing that we all have. Let's swap.
Right. It's like going to the store. Like that was the excuse. Like that was the rebuttal that he gave me at one point, was like the store. And he was like, oh, like when you go to the store and something's $10 and you want the item, you pay the $10 for it. And I'm like, yeah, but I was like, but if I have the ability to pay $8 for it, I'm going to pay $8 for it.
Right.
I'll go somewhere else.
Like, you know, like
so funny.
In that Burger King league, at one point, Paul, I don't know if you noticed this, there were like only Washington, Eagle, and Detroit running backs. There was like 10 of them in a row.
The way Yahoo ranks the people is so terrible.
And it's like,
It's Yahoo.
So bad.
people like, you know, people drafted what they want, and then you were left with this big chunk at the top of the board of these players. I'm like, I don't want any of this.
In the 7th round, or in the first round with the 7th pick, Yahoo was like telling me like, oh, you need to draft fucking, who was it? You need to draft, because I took Saquon. And who were they telling me that I needed to draft? Who the fuck was it? Oh, they were like, you need to draft Derrick Henry here. I'm like, no.
No,
That's very funny.
And then in the 2nd round, when I got Najee Harris, they were like, oh, like, you need to take Calvin Ridley here. I was like, you guys are retarded.
So it was so interesting. And you said in the one of the chats about Sleeper, and I only did Sleeper that one time. And even like looking at the Yahoo list, and I was like, wait, like, is this the person I'm supposed to pick here? Like, am I doing the wrong thing by picking somebody else? Is it just the whole lineup? And it got to a certain point, like this doesn't seem right. Like, am I doing something wrong?
It was just so bizarre.
Kendall, I'm going to need you to bring the bathrobe on Sunday.
Oh man, we should get like a big like iron-on like CM to put on the back.
I already plan on using the word allegedly a lot.
Allegedly.
When we're talking about Vinny being the champion.
Allegedly.
Yeah.
That was my championship last year, and I deserved it.
I tell you, I think the move is I think the move is you get him a DeMar Hamlin jersey.
Hilarious.
You hand it to him for no reason at all, and he goes, "What's this for?" And be like, "Well, this is the guy that won you the championship last year."
Figured you'd want it.
Hilarious. If it wasn't so much money, I'd actually do that.
We could just make one.
Could do that.
Get a blue shirt,
Nice strip of tape.
Get a blue shirt, cut one of the buffaloes out of one of the paintings in Kendall's living room out, glue it to the shirt, and then right on the back, emergency room. Was that messed up? Yeah.
That's very funny.
Take out
No.
get one of the get some Buffalo Wild Wings the day before. We'll cut out the to-go box. Staple.
No, we're gonna ruin your grandpa's painting, Kendall. We already talked about it.
All right. I concede.
Oh.
But
His name is Kendall. He is an asshole.
I tell you what. I think I'm finally going to watch the Ravens lose a preseason game.
Are they losing right now?
No, but Washington's marching, and it's only a 4-point difference.
Isn't it sad that what they're really hanging their hats on?
We haven't lost a preseason game in forever. Great.
Happy to hear it.
They also haven't won the division in forever.
Well, it's only been 2 years, hasn't it?
I don't know. Feels like forever.
Yeah.
In the first time since forever. Name that movie, Kendall.
Oh God. When Harry Met Sally.
Nope, Frozen.
Damn.
I love that Paul didn't even bother to ask me. He's like, Massey hasn't fucking seen this.
It was one of those things that like Massey hadn't seen it and had no clue at all, or
That one.
or knew it perfectly because Ashley loves the movie.
No, she hates that movie.
There is no in between though.
Yeah, it's fair.
Oh, I saw this thing, Mass. I tried to send it to you, but the account was private. And then I went to screenshot it, but I accidentally like clicked the homepage on Instagram.
Yeah, I lost it.
Couldn't find it ever again. It was this thing though where they were doing like the center was Caillou, and it said normal above it, and then it had a circle of all the different like people that Caillou would be if like based on Pokemon types. So like the Rock was like normal Rock, and then like Aang from Avatar was normal flying.
That's very funny.
One Punch Man was normal fighting. The bald character from Dragon Ball Z was
Krillin.
Yeah, I think he was normal psychic.
All right, I mean,
Or I don't remember what he was, but it was normal something. But it was just so funny.
that is very funny. Just bald people just on their types.
Yeah, like remember the guy, Mass? Have you seen Lilo and Stitch?
Yeah.
Remember the bald guy that keeps getting his ice cream knocked over?
Yes.
That was normal ice.
That's very funny.
Yeah, I laughed pretty hard at that one.
That's very funny. That's a deep cut.
What happened?
What channel is this preseason game on?
ESPN.
Sick.
ESPN Ocho.
It's about to go to halftime. There's 30 seconds left.
Sick.
You can see that.
That's just what I wanted to hear.
Get him hear them great halftime breakdown.
Lucky for me, my Apollo was always 2 minutes behind, so I'll still get to watch the live. What's really a bummer is like what really makes me upset is my Apollo just kind of like constantly buffers in and out whenever I'm watching a live sporting event, and that's it. That's the only thing. Anything else doesn't matter. I could be watching SNL live on cable, like the TV channel thing, never buffers once. Movies, no problem. TV shows, nothing. Fucking docuseries, whatever. Anything on the live TV stuff, no problem. Turn on sports, like, we forgot how to work.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
man.
Very hit or miss. I've had a lot of baseball games that, stopped, mid-pitch, and then it's like, oh, sorry, cannot connect the server. Like, awesome.
I can't tell you how many NBA Finals games I watched out of, like, Burlington, Vermont, because I'm like, there's nobody there watching that.
That's very funny. I do enjoy VPNing.
I've been sneezing a lot.
Yeah, it's pretty bad out here.
Yeah.
And it's weird. I mean, maybe I just don't remember, but I thought like the really like big allergy kick was until like the end of September.
Oh,
Or,
don't
like,
worry, it's coming. This isn't the big one.
Yeah, this is just the it hasn't been really hot out.
it's like we just wanted to remind you that we're here.
Yeah, this is bonus allergies.
This is the DLC.
Yeah. Speaking of DLC, I did a pretty funny thing yesterday that Massey will appreciate.
All right.
All right, so I told Samantha some time ago. I think we talked about this. I told Samantha some time ago that I would really like a PS5 as like my birthday Christmas combo gift.
Yep.
I'm totally fine with getting it for my birthday and then not getting anything for Christmas. And I'm also totally fine with if she wanted to recruit people to help chip in for it. I know it's not cheap. And, you know, I told her like there's 3 games that I would really want for it. I would like a new version of Madden because I haven't gotten a new version of Madden in a long time.
Yep.
1 second. Sorry. I thought you were handing that to me, Amelia. I think Amelia was just showing me a bug, and I didn't know what it was, and that's why I grabbed it and I killed it. Is Mock on?
No.
Oh, someone just did that like grunt thing that he does when he laughs. Like,
That was me.
Really? I thought
Anyway.
that was me, Mass.
I channeled my inner mock.
nice. So like basically all I wanted was like the games I want are that the Hogwarts game.
Hogwarts Legacy.
Yep, and Mortal Kombat, the new one, Mortal Kombat 1. So those are the only 3 games that I really care about getting that are out for the PS5 at the moment. So
You got to get Horizon.
well, I have it.
You got Forbidden West?
Yeah, I already beat it. I got it when it came out to the PS4.
I didn't realize that. All right.
Yeah. So, hey, good thing I turned on the game, not listen to Massey. But so I was like, I don't care. Recruit anybody you want, and that can be their gift. I don't care if you get, if you get 100 people and they all chip in $5, and that's my gift from everybody. I don't care. You know what I mean? So anyway, on the chance that it happens, I was like, well, I need to get all these downloadable characters, and then if I don't get it, I'll return it.
That's actually very funny.
I went to GameStop yesterday. I was like, "Hey, what do you guys got going on for these Mortal Kombat pre-orders?" And they're like, "Well, I was like, for what system?" I'm like, PS5. And they're like, "Okay, you get the regular one for $75, or you can get the premium one for like $110. It comes with the 6 downloadable characters, the 5 cameo characters. You get Shang Tsung. It comes with the Johnny Cage skin for the system, and you get the Metal Collector's like disc book." And I was like, "All right." I was like, I'll use my $5 monthly coupon. I was like, here's a trade-in for this. And I'll put some down, and then I'll see you on September 14th. What's the return policy if I don't open it? And they're like, we can give you the full credit for the game, plus the taxes. We just can't refund the DLC. I'm like, that's fine. I was like, will the DLC work in 2 years if I try it? And they're like, yeah, it's yours. I was like, perfect.
That's a pro move.
That's what I did. So, hey. Look,
Ball's game in the system.
Whatever happens, happens. But here's the thing, and this is what I told Samantha. I was like, if I'm going to get the game, this is how I explained to her. It's like, the Mortal Kombat video game that's my game. It goes Mortal Kombat, Uncharted, and then Horizon. Those are like my 3 games to play. Well, that's not true. It goes Mortal Kombat, Mario-related games. But
I can't believe you're doing Far Cry 3 like that.
Well, only because the most recent Far Cries have kind of been meh.
That's fine, but Far Cry 3 deserves an honorable mention.
Far Cry 4 was sick too.
I didn't really enjoy 4.
I liked 4. 4 was cool. I liked 4 because I loved that they told you right in the beginning how you could beat the game and like nobody figured it out.
Just sit there and wait.
Yeah. So Kendall, you would actually Easter egg. So in the beginning of the game, for Far Cry 4. You're going to Yemen to spread your mom's ashes, and your bus gets hijacked by this like dictator-y type overlord guy, and you get brought back to his compound, and you're in his mansion, and you're sitting at a table, and the guy tells you like, like,
Hang
or
on, I'll be back in a second.
yeah, hang on, don't move, I'll be back in a second. And the game prompts you to explore the room and then eventually escape. During the entire process of you being kidnapped, the song. So when he prompts you with that, if you sit put and don't move the character for like X amount of minutes, the guy comes back and tells you that you're the rightful heir to the entire island, boom, or the entire mountain range. Game's over. You win.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
It's
awesome. Pretty fucking funny.
The first time I played the game, I put it in. The guy said, "Wait, don't move," and I in my head I was like, "Oh, like I'll give it a minute, see if like something cool happened, like if he comes back and like says something or whatever." Like because like the game, like in 3, there were some options like that where like you could kind of bypass unneeded dialogue, but you could get extra things to the story. So I waited for a minute, and then like I had to get up to go to the bathroom, and then like when I came back, I just left it there. I didn't pause it or anything. I just left it there. And then when I came back, like as I sat down, I picked up the controller, and then the guy walked over, and then he was like, "I have to show you this thing." And he pulls me through a room, and he goes, "This is all yours. You own all of it."
It's quite a fun Easter egg.
That is what it's like. Imagine playing for the first time, and you just opt to do that. It's like, well, this was cool, but this kind of sucks. As the credits roll.
I said, how funny would it have been? How funny would it have been if like part of the Easter egg was that if you did that, the game stopped and you couldn't restart it?
Oh man!
Also, very funny.
That would be. Do you know how pissed people would be? Massey, that's actually a really good point. So I'd have to think. So Far Cry 3 was awesome.
Yes.
Far Cry 3 was one of the best games ever. For me, it was.
I think it's pretty universally celebrated. That and Blood Dragon.
Far Cry 4, I liked a lot. I did like Far Cry 4 a lot.
I was very mad on
4. Far Cry 1 and 2 were like, they were good for what they were, but they were also bad.
Also, yes.
Far Cry Primal was terrible.
Also, yes.
It was atrocious. It was just Far Cry being like, fuck, we're not ready to release 5 when we said we would. Let's throw this piece of shit together. And then
it was like a proof of concept game. No, because Primal came out before 4, didn't it?
I thought Primal came out before 5.
Far Cry Primal.
I thought it came out before 5.
Let's see.
Well, I mean,
2 years after 4, so it came out afterwards.
Yeah, because I remember. So Primal came out right after we graduated from college. Because I remember getting the game because I was in Florida. It was when I was taking care of my mom, and I remember the game had came out. I went to the store to get the game with the intentions on the next time I came up to visit at home, I would get my PS4 and bring it back down with me because I didn't bring it with me when I went down originally. And then I remember getting 5. 5 I didn't care for really at all.
I still haven't played 5.
5 I love the idea for 5. The idea for 5 is very like Waco, Texas, like cult type thing.
Yeah.
I placed in a more like rural area, but it was just, I don't know, there was something about it that was just too
manufactured.
It was just too like all over the place. Like you were like the thing I liked about like 3, 4, and 6 were that like in 3 you were people that were vacationing there and you all got kidnapped by human traffickers and you escaped, and then like you ended up like taking refuge with like the locals on the island who were like fighting in this like civil war against the people on the island that are like trying to turn it into this like drug lord place.
Yep.
And so you end up like being with them to get your friends back. Like that's the point, is you're trying to get your friends back. And then in like 4, it's like the same kind of concept. Like you're kidnapped and then like you're finding out that like your ancestors and stuff are like blah, 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 and this and that. In 6, it's just like you kind of stumble into this like cult. And now all of a sudden you're part of the military. It's literally, it's just like, it's like I remember explaining it to Jeff. I was like, yeah, the concept of this game is like, imagine you were walking down the street past a house that was on fire and a firefighter grabbed you and said, you got to put this out.
Hey, that guy's got a mustache.
It's very disappointing
One
because
second.
isn't Giancarlo Stanton the main villain in that game?
This is a
Oh.
reference I don't know.
Oh, he muted himself.
Yeah,
You know
one
who?
second. Be right back.
Do you know who Giancarlo Stanton is, Kendall?
What, the baseball player?
No.
Giancarlo
No, not
Esposito, man.
Esposito. Sorry, I don't know why I got Stanton stuck in my head.
I was about to say that was
It's
was like
because Esposito's
Can you
an
imagine
actor.
Giancarlo
It's because
Stanton?
Esposito's an actor, and Massey hasn't seen any of the movies.
Can you imagine fucking Giancarlo Stanton as the main bad guy in a AAA Ubisoft game? Oh, that's so fucking funny.
and they'll be like there's like a very like lightly like veiled reference to like him like being in baseball. Like
That's very funny.
So, what were you saying, Matt? Sorry.
I was gonna say, isn't Far Cry 6 the one with Giancarlo Esposito in it?
Yeah, Giancarlo Esposito is the main antagonist. Yep. I mean,
Big
the
fan of him.
character is just him.
Right, it's just Giancarlo Esposito.
Yeah. Six is sweet too, because in 6 you're just like it's the same kind of thing. Like it's meant to be I forget what the name of the island is, but it's basically just it's meant to be fucking Fidel Castro in Cuba. That's really like what the whole thing is. Is like
Right.
this guy, like taking he basically has everything corrupted, and this, that, and the other thing, and there's people trying to rebel up and whatnot, and the character you play as slowly is like doing favors to like not to help either side, but just to like progress himself and survival.
Yeah, just
And then yeah, I liked 6 though. But anyway, so it's funny, and now you got me thinking. So I'd probably Mortal Kombat is 1. Mortal Kombat's 1. I would probably put like the Mario franchise just as a whole at 2. Because I'll try any Mario game. Some of them suck, some of them are good.
I tell you what, I recently have beaten Super Mario Odyssey. And
Super Mario Odyssey can suck a fat cock.
I hated Odyssey for a little while. Replaying it, it has probably my favorite ending of any Mario game, excluding the Paper Mario series. Those are phenomenal. Right?
You know what, Mass? That's fair, but I still just didn't care for the game.
And that's fair. I respect that. I
Low-key,
tried Galaxy. I could not get into it.
See, I'm the opposite. I loved Galaxy. Galaxy 2 was too much, but Super Mario Galaxy, I loved Super Mario Galaxy.
But I think it's hard because I tried playing it on the All-Stars collection, not on a Wii.
Oh, yeah, see, it was designed for the Wii.
Right. So I think that's taking something out of it.
Yeah, because the whole thing was like you wanted to like get up into the slingshot stars and like shake the remote and stuff.
Right.
It was more designed for that. Yeah. It's like trying to play it's like I don't people who try to play Super Mario 64 on the computer. It's like it's designed for the joystick. Super Mario 64 it's meant to be played with a joystick.
Yeah, you need a controller to be able to play the game.
Kendall's like,
If you don't, you're a madman.
Fucking lost right now.
Well, he's taking a piss, so he's fine.
Kendall's like, oh, you guys talking about Tetris? I love when you get the long one.
Man, I don't even know where I would begin with my series because.
Oh yeah, see, it's much more tough for you because you're much more in depth with the video game world than I am. But like, yeah, I mean, so I'd have to think of the order because like the thing too with like the Mario franchise is like I think I'd have to say it Mario, like the like linear story Mario's type of thing.
Have
like
you
I can't
ever played any of the Paper Mario games?
Yeah, Paper Mario's sick.
Fucking love Paper Mario, except for Sticker Star and Color Splash. Fuck those games.
Yeah, Super Mario Sunshine banger.
You know that's actually viewed as like one of the worst Mario games.
People are stupid.
Yeah, I agree.
But like I feel like I can't just say the Mario franchise because like it's just like an unfair comparison just because of like the volume size. Like fucking Mario baseball, sick. Mario Party, sick. Super Mario Kart, sick.
Yeah.
It's like not a fair comparison.
Right.
But Uncharted, Horizon, and Far Cry would also be in there. I love all those franchises. I like, and I think the thing I love most about Far Cry is like in complete contradictory to the thing that I love most about Uncharted, because I love that Uncharted is basically just a giant story.
Yes.
And I love that Far Cry doesn't do that, because I think Far Cry would be stupid if Far Cry 3, 4, 5, and 6 were just the same character.
Right.
Like it's just like, okay, at some point this guy's just going to get assassinated.
Oh yeah, absolutely, 100%.
I just wish Uncharted the movie was better.
I mean, it wasn't terrible, but it wasn't good.
It wasn't terrible. The problem was, this is the problem, and I stand by this. The Uncharted movie should have never been made, because really, honestly, the cast for the Uncharted movie should have just been the cast from Burn Notice.
Who would you have had play Nate, though?
The guy from Burn Notice.
The guy who played Michael Weston?
Yeah.
So funny. I missed the beginning of that, but just Burn Notice, so funny.
Burn Notice is a good show. I'll stand by that.
From a looks standpoint and a personality standpoint, they're not spot on mess. That's not what I'm saying. But the dynamic between the main character of Burn Notice and the older guy is
I mean, I fucking love what's his name? Don't say it. Bruce Campbell. I love Bruce Campbell.
The dynamic between the two of them and Nate and Sully is spot fucking on.
It is.
And then there's a Chloe in there. Like, they literally the same fucking dynamic of characters.
Yeah. I mean, yes.
I just remember the first, like, I watched an episode of Burn Notice with Kyle, and I was like,
this is Uncharted.
That's what I was like. Is this an Uncharted ripoff? What is this?
No, this came before Uncharted.
I know.
So Uncharted is a Burn Notice ripoff.
My big video game revelation, though, of all time, that doesn't happen very often, but when you get a chance to give Massey an aha moment in video games, I did it.
I mean, yeah.
Well, because correct me if I'm remembering this incorrectly, I will stand by it. But this is how I remember it. Freshman year, Massey and I are hanging out. It's a weekend where everybody went home. It was just me and Massey, and Massey goes, because I had the Xbox 360, and I was saying to Massey, I think I want to switch to the PS3. Because at the time, I didn't really have, like, I didn't care about exclusives for video games.
You were just trying to play Mortal Kombat.
I just wanted Mortal Kombat and NHL. That's all I wanted to play.
Yep.
So the reason I wanted to make the switch was when the Xbox 360 and the PS3 were out, you needed to have the Xbox Live Pass in order to watch Netflix. So you had to pay.
Correct.
You had to get the 3-month, card every 3 months you had to pay however much money it was to be able to watch Netflix that you were paying for. Whereas on PS3, you just could download the app and watch Netflix. So Massey said, before you make the switch, why don't you try this game for the PlayStation? If you love it, then you get the PlayStation and you can play it. I'm like, okay. So we go to Massey's room and he boots up Uncharted 2. He goes, this is widely regarded as like the best video game of all time.
One
up. Okay, no problem. Play it, fucking swamp hooked immediately. I'm like, this is the best thing ever. But then I remember when I got the PS3, I bought Uncharted 1 and played it, and I was like, Uncharted 1 is just as fucking sick. And you had never played Uncharted 1.
I still haven't.
So, but I kind of explained to you like some of the plot points, and you're like, oh, that makes sense with this and that. Yeah. And I gave you an aha moment of like, oh, shit.
I should have got to play that.
Yeah. Uncharted 4, though. Uncharted 2 is the best game in terms of the series, in terms of gameplay and whatnot.
Uncharted 2 is reigns supreme above them all. I don't care what anybody says.
Is what?
Uncharted 2 is the Supreme King. I don't care what anybody says.
No, that's totally fine. I just love the dynamic of the story of Uncharted. like the storytelling of like pirates that I find extremely fascinating.
Yes. But nobody does it better than 2. 2 just hits all the right notes at all the right time. And I tell you what, I never asked for that game. I got the PlayStation 3 as a surprise Christmas gift from my mom. And I didn't think I was ever going to get it. And I was like, oh, all right, let's go get some games for this. She's like, hold on, you got a game for it already. I was like, all right. And it was Uncharted 2. I had no idea what it was, never heard of it, never played. And I was like, all right, Mom got it for me, I'll try it. Like Paul said, immediately fucking hooked. And I would have played it at some point, but to think that if my mom didn't just go and be like, what should I get for him? So and good. The random employee said Uncharted 2. Man.
And that random employee was me.
Ah.
Full circle
I tell you
moment.
what, Paul, I would have loved to have seen Nolan North as Nathan Drake. Just like actually in live action.
So good. Hey,
I think he could do it.
I got a question for you, Mass.
Okay.
If we sat Kendall down, let's say his basement will get or your basement when it's finished again. Huh. Just because you have a good setup because you got the couch and everything.
Yep.
We put 3 TVs up and you and I can just play video games the whole time.
Yep.
So, but Kendall has to sit down on the Super Nintendo and play Super Mario World until he beats it. How long do you think it takes?
Ooh.
And I would like to go on record as saying that I don't care what anybody says. The way that Massey feels about Uncharted 2 is how I feel about Super Mario World. It's the king of Mario games. It's the king.
Man, to beat Super Mario World?
Super Mario World and Super Mario 64 is its queen. Super Mario Sunshine is the prince. No, Paper Mario is the prince. Super Mario Sunshine is the second in line, and everybody else is just they're part of the family.
Man,
and let me reiterate. He just has to get through the final world. He does not have to collect all 120 stars.
I think it takes him 8 or 9 hours.
Man, I was not in the same camp.
Do you think it takes more or less?
I was in the camp of we need the weekend.
Yeah. All right, so here's the thing.
I don't think I don't think he does a thing and goes, "Oh, okay, that makes this way easier if I know how to do that." I think he immediately forgets how to do that thing and then keeps dying.
This is a good consideration.
Let me
here's the thing.
Do you remember
I can get through that game in 4 hours.
I've done it in 5.
I mean, all right, so ballpark right around there. 9 or 10 hours is double that.
Yeah, so I'm thinking 15 to 20.
I mean, I think that's totally fair. I mean, especially because I have such little frame of reference to just it's eventually it's throwing me to the wolves. I would basically be learning from scratch.
Mass, do you remember the world where right when you start, there's an abandoned red shell, and then there's an upcrop with 9.
I know exactly what you're talking about. Yes.
There is no way Kendall, within 12 tries, figures out how to get the extra life.
No, absolutely not. There's no shot.
But I would really like to do this, Kendall. I'd like to watch you really.
Listen, I think that
here's Super Mario World. It's just a straightforward arcade game. You just keep moving in one direction and try not to die.
I mean, there's probably endless hours of amusement by watching me try to complete that game. For as easy and regular perhaps it may be, you're looking at a true novice. I mean,
you know what we got to do with Master? You play GTA at all?
Yeah, I mean the 5th one.
Yeah,
I haven't played in a while, but yes.
We should get together with Matthew one night and relive the GTA mission days.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of just in general endless hours of fun.
That was the best group video game thing that we ever did. I loved simulating the 2K careers, but the GTA thing was so much fun.
I don't know what this is.
So me, Jeff, and Kendall. Kyle would do it sometimes, but Kyle was like not a fan of it because Kyle was not a big GTA fan.
Yeah.
But like, so we would do it with Pat also from time to time. But it would usually be me, Jeff, and Kendall. We would sit down on the couch in his room, and when it was your turn, you would get the controller, and you would. So like, let's say it's your turn. You have the controller.
Okay.
I give you a mission, and Kendall gives you a mission. You have to complete both missions. You have to complete the missions before you die in the game.
Okay.
So if you complete mine, but you don't complete Kendall's, that means you owe a shot for not doing Kendall's, and I owe you a shot for finishing mine. And we would do this all night long. And like the missions would be something as simple as get a car into the hopper of the train.
Okay.
One of them would be kill 3 people with 1 bullet from a sniper.
Okay, and you're playing on the same console or a different console?
Same console.
We're all in one room. One person has the controller, and the other 2 are just shooting the shit and talking while the other one's doing it.
It's like perhaps one of the best video game drinking games we ever created, just because it's endless
and some of
options.
them, let me tell you, some of them were so anticlimactic and boring, but we just did it to make the other person miserable. I remember one time Kendall gave Jeff one. He had to get from the most northern point on the map to the most southern point on the map in one car without taking any damage to the vehicle.
Oh boy.
Do you have any idea how long we sat there and watched Jeff go 5 miles an hour across this fucking map?
Following all
That's
the traffic
funny.
directions, stopping at red lights.
That's very funny, because that takes a good 10 minutes to drive at full speed.
And we would and like we would make like there'd be like bonus ones to it where like we would like do like include a beer into it. It'll be like, okay, like the whole mission as a whole is worth a shot, but like you can do these other things and like there's sips of beer. So like let's say it's a 5-part thing. If you do the full thing, I got to do the shot and drink the beer. But let's say you only get 3 of them done, then it's like, I still drank the beer, but you have to do the shot kind of thing.
Yeah.
So like we would do like these ones where it's like, okay, you need to get the car from here to here in under this amount of time with a hooker in the car without any damage, but you have to have 3 stars for more than half the time.
That's something I would really like to do again. I haven't played that in a really long time, and it's endless hours of fun.
What was the one that Jeff would always want us to give him?
Well, besides 5 stars,
Steal a jet plane.
yeah,
steal a Boeing through 737.
I tell you what, one of the most fun I've had in that game is playing fucking Frogger.
Oh yeah, see, I've always been interested in trying to play the computer modes, but
No. It's Highway Frogger. You stand on the highway, and if you don't look either way, cars will just randomly spawn, and you just have to take off.
That's funny.
And you may or may not get hit by a car.
Oh, that is funny.
It's quite amusing. But yeah, we should make this happen at some point. I would very much like to do so.
It's just so ridiculous. Some of the things, like what did we do? It was one I gave to Jeff one time. They had a really hard time with, I gave him the one time. I told him, I was like, I don't care how long it takes. You have until you die. I was like, or whatever. But I was like, I made it worth 5 shots. Oh no, I put a timer on it. I was like, because Jeff and I did it by ourselves. I was like, you have 30 minutes. And he goes, what's the mission? I was like, if you don't do it, you owe me 3 shots. If you do it, I owe you 3. He goes, okay. I was like, the mission is you have to, in this vehicle, I don't care if you get it banged up, but if you total it, the mission's over. I was like, you have to get, he was playing as Michael. I was like, you have to find Franklin and Trevor and then get them in a jet and get it in the air.
Oh, no.
It's so funny just watching him be like,
oh, no.
Where the fuck is this asshole?
That's very funny.
And in typical us fashion, we follow the rules for a little bit, and then all of a sudden, like you tend to start just kind of drinking to drink on top of the other part of it. Like you call it.
Carried away.
Yep. Yeah. By the second hour of the game, you've pretty much, anything's on the table.
Man, Paul, you want to know how we could turn in, or how we could get alcohol poisoning real quick?
Always.
I mean, do that Super Mario thing with Kendall. Shot every time he dies.
Yeah. Hospital. Let's do that in the hospital.
Yeah.
Better get you guys
that might
hooked up
not
to an
even be
IV.
enough to save us.
I don't know if you can, like, just have a stomach pump hooked up for no reason, but I'm going to need it.
Yeah, I mean.
Oh, my God.
We would be having a rough time.
I tell you, we could make it more interesting. We could take it out of Super Mario World and do Super Mario 3 and watch him try to use the fucking suit. What's it called? I always forget what it's called.
The Tanuki suit.
Tanuki suit, yeah.
This Tanuki is raccoon in Japanese.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so funny. Can you imagine him trying to figure out how to use it for the first time?
Or even better. How about this, Mass? We take a shot every time he fucks it up. We give him a printout of instructions on a piece of paper. He can't ask us for any help. He has to follow the instructions that are just written on, like, from like one of those like video game hack site type things.
Yeah, like super cheats or something like that.
Exactly. And we watch Kendall try to do the secret path to unlock Mew in Pokemon Red. And every time he messes up, we have to drink.
Oh no! Remember that stomach pump you were mentioning?
Listen,
that's so
whatever
funny.
scenario.
Does he start out with everything he needs for it, or does he have to get there first?
No, he's set up and ready to go.
Okay.
Yeah.
Listen,
no, because then we're just fucked.
Well, I'm telling you,
Yeah.
whatever scenario you guys paint, you guys are getting pretty drunk, like hopelessly.
Oh, what do you think would take long?
How many?
No, what do you think would take longer? Kendall getting through Mortal Kombat 1.
Like the new one or the original one?
The original.
Like getting through the tower?
Just like beating the game.
Well, I mean, the game's like doesn't the first one doesn't really have a story.
So yeah, I guess through the tower.
Okay, what difficulty?
I don't even remember what difficulty settings there were.
Just like the
Easy,
middle
normal,
one.
hard.
Yeah, we'll just go with that. So okay,
We'll
so
go
the
middle
difficulty. Okay. Or
do you think it would take them longer to get through Modern Warfare 2?
the story mode?
Yeah,
Oh, Mortal Kombat.
on veteran.
Now, if this means anything, Mass, I actually did play that game, Modern Warfare 2.
Did you ever play modern, or did you ever play it in veteran mode?
I never did, but I did play the game. Whatever it was what level it was, recruit.
I mean, I guess it would have to be Modern Warfare only because like eventually he would just accidentally mash the right button order, like mathematically, like he's just gonna eventually. It might take and again, this might be like one takes him 4 days and the other one takes him 5. You know what I mean? Like it could still take a long time either way. But like he's just gonna get obliterated in veteran.
Yeah, it's veteran is fucking. I don't even think I can finish it on veteran. At least now. I finished it in veteran when I was younger, but I'm too old now. I tell people now I can't do like first person shooters anymore because my brain can't keep up with what's necessary for it. Like I can't play Warzone because my senses just aren't fast enough anymore. I can just get rinsed.
Yeah, I mean, my senses were never even a part of anything. I've always, any like trash. Paul could attest to that.
You know what my favorite first person shooter game of all time was?
GoldenEye?
No. Okay. All right. Well, no, GoldenEye is probably still 2, just because like GoldenEye was because you needed people to play with,
Yes.
but like from like the story like campaign standpoint, I was such a huge fan of Medal of Honor: Rising Sun.
Medal of Honor was good for a while, and then it fell
Right.
off.
I loved Rising Sun. Rising Sun was like the American troops on the beach in Japan.
Yep.
That was a good game. I liked that a lot.
It was.
Let me tell you, when another video game classic would be of the Jeff Kendall Paul trio would be playing Black Ops 3.
I think so.
I think it was Black Ops 3. So we would always play, and like we always had like different maps. We had different like strategies because we would always play like the 3 of us versus like whatever the max amount of bots was, and we would we would do the thing where like the bots were on different levels of difficulty. And so like there's this one map, I forget what the names of the maps are, but there's this one map in Black Ops 3 where you start and you go forward and then you immediately go right and you're on like the roof overlooking like the water. And then like you can either go straight all the way along the roof and get to the other side of the map, or like in the middle of it there's this little like these windows you can climb into and be inside the building that gets you into the middle of the map where you would plant the bomb.
That was either map or Combine, and I can't remember which.
Combine sounds right. But either way, so this would be how we would do this. We'd go into the room where
might have been Exodus. No, because anyways, continue. Sorry.
We would go on the roof, right? Jeff would watch our back. Kendall would just be in the middle, and then I would run ahead, and I would go onto the side of the building and look down the roofway, and make sure that nobody was coming on the other side of the roof before we went into the room to set up shop. Yep. Kendall would watch the room itself to see if anybody was coming through to get me, and Jeff would watch our back. We'd clear out if we needed to, and then we'd go in the room. And then it was always the same thing. I would be sitting in the window looking down that roof with the fucking gun. I would always have the mustache as my sight.
Yeah.
And I'd be down there. Jeff would be looking out the other window and like running around the roof, like taking out people coming from the top and whatever. And Kendall would just lay in the prone position, looking straight down the barrel of the hallway. And I would die a lot from Kendall not being able to, move fast enough.
It's very funny.
Yeah, it was a bummer when I was the guy to screw things up.
Nothing made me laugh more than watching the replays of Kendall just being in the prone position, trying to shoot someone but not being able to aim high enough because they got too close, and then watching them run over him and stab him and then keep going. And you just watch Kendall's character just die there.
There are countless scenarios that are so funny where especially like I was the last guy alive and like screwing it up at the end. But then there's
watching Kendall defuse a bomb after Jeff and I had died was one of the funniest things I think I've ever watched.
And every once in a great while, I was able to actually pull it off. And the celebration that occurs afterwards is just something that is unmatched. It's like winning. It's like winning the Super Bowl.
I won the Powerball.
That's very funny.
What's the map? I don't know if it's Black Ops 3 or not. What's the map where it's like wicked tiny and it's just filled with shipping containers? Shipment. Oh, whenever I used to have, and this is the video games don't cause violence argument. Takes a quick dump in the toilet. Whenever I'd have a really bad day at work, I would come home and I would play me versus like 70 bots. All the bots on easy, and I would just keep running around the map with infinite ammo on a fucking 12-gauge pump shotgun and just keep lighting fuckers up.
I tell you what.
Just turn the corner, turn the corner, throw a grenade in the thing, keep going. And I would just sit there, I would just kill like hundreds and hundreds of bots on auto spawn.
I tell you what. There was a weekend during Modern Warfare 2 where it's rumored that an Activision employee had quit and had messed with the code as they left, and had instituted an infinite ammo glitch across the entire multiplayer sector of the game. And for 48 hours, and it happened on a weekend, there was infinite ammo through the entire game. And that meant that you could fire off noob tubes without reloading at all. And it was just going shunk, 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 shunk. AC-130s didn't have any ammo. Tactical nukes were going off every single game. It was just pandemonium, and it was such a fun weekend.
Talk about your kill-death ratio just being totally obliterated.
Oh, absolutely. But if you were decent enough at it, you could actually get your KD pretty high. I set off a few tactical nukes during, but man, that was a weekend to remember.
What was always funny was Jeff's always been the Call of Duty diehard in the group. And so whenever we would play, if for some, it was very rare that it would happen. Usually either I or Kendall would die, and then Jeff would be left to kind of lead the charge with the other one. And we would just always kind of follow Jeff's lead because, he knew the maps, whatever. And then it would always be funny whenever we'd be playing, a different, version, instead of doing bomb, the
Search and destroy.
Search and destroy. Or doing one of the fucking ones where you can respawn type of thing. It'd be, I forget what the different modes are, but when there'd be a random one. I don't remember what this map was, but Jeff would die. Kendall, you might remember this. Jeff would die, and Kendall and I would just be like, "All right, fuck, what are we doing?" we would always end up whenever we were on this map in the back right corner. There was that concrete underground tubing that you see on trucks and stuff.
Yep.
There was some of those, and we would just go in the prone position and just lay feet to feet with our guns pointing out the tube.
Yes.
We're just gonna wait this out.
That's very funny.
Just Kendall, you're with me. So basically, anything that moves is not friendly.
Right.
Kill it.
Extreme prejudice, shoot to kill.
Oh man. That's another. We'd have a good time. Doing GTA would be fun, but doing it at a Call of Duty night, kind of like what we're talking about, would also be a lot of fun.
Well, see, it was funny though because GTA night would always be a fucking bottle of Red Stag Black Cherry and Call of Duty night would always be 3 full tins of dip and 6 monsters.
Jesus.
We would always it was always funny too because Jeff would get a green monster and one of those mocha ones. Kendall would get a green monster. I would get 2 monster assaults, and then Jeff and I would just chain dip long cut.
Jesus.
Yeah. So funny.
Those were the days.
So stupid. It was nice when you really had no responsibilities in life.
Yeah.
When your only responsibility was making sure you were still alive.
Right. Go to work, come home.
Yeah, exactly, right?
Yeah, no kidding. Meanwhile, my go to work and come home was 5 minutes before we went on the show tonight.
Same.
Yep. I was telling a coworker of mine tonight, he dropped his youngest off at college this past weekend. And they were talking about, it's the youngest, the baby's going to college, blah, blah. And it's well, at least you get him over the summer. And he's well, we said that about my daughter too, but she hasn't been home in 3 summers because she's been working every summer. It's well, I guess that's a fair point. Cousin of mine told me the other day, once you're 24, you go till about you're 35 of having just the ability to do no social life or anything like that. And you get it back again around 35. And it's 5 years left until we're somewhat back to normal.
Well, it depends.
Yes, it does.
This is the thing. So think of it this way. Let's just say I was talking to, who was I talking to about it? I was talking to Kyle about it, and I was like, do you know that 5 years? Because we were talking about where do you think we'll be when we're 40? And I was like, do you realize that when we're approaching 40, I might be so alone He goes, what do you mean? I was like, well, think about it. I'm like, Mock and Marissa's kid will be like 7.
Yeah.
Charlotte will be 8. I have a 7-year-old going on 8 right now, and I know how much time that consumes. Like if Massey and Ashley have one, that'll that baby will be between probably 5 and 7 at that point. If you and I was like, mine will be like I'll be begging mine to spend time with me and be driving around being like, yeah, I can't. I got to go to Dunkin', and like I'm gonna be sitting here being like, anybody want to hang out? What's up?
I mean, I'll want to at that point because I'm going to need a break.
Yeah. So Anthony and I will be like, all of you can drop your kids off here. We miss it.
Yeah, you'll say that for a week, and then you'll be like, don't miss it anymore.
No, because when it's not your kid, there's a certain level of like stress that goes right out the window.
I feel like that would give me more stress.
Because you got to remember, you drop your kid off, I watch your kid. I don't give a fuck what that kid does after you take it back. So that kid can do fucking cocaine off of the dog's ass for all I can.
Let's get this kid zooted.
Yeah.
Get this kid sued.
You get fucking Mock's going to drop his 8-year-old son off, and I'm going to return and be like, yeah, we played Call of Duty Black Ops 3, so he's got 3 monsters in his system, and I taught him how to pack a 10.
The way you should have.
Yeah. Kendall's going to drop off his daughter, and she'll be like, yeah, I showed her who Alexa Bliss is, and she said you're gross.
And then she signed up for Instagram and immediately favored her at all the fan accounts.
Oh, could you imagine, when that she, like, Kendall drops Charlotte off for, like, when she's, like, 11, like, I watch her for, like, a day, he, like, returns back, like, what'd you do with Uncle Paul? I'd be like, he taught me how to make an OnlyFans. I was like, what do you do? Like, she said she wanted to make money cooking. I figured it was the right start.
That's very funny.
Oh, so funny. All right, I think Kendall, it's time to wrap it up.
No, hold on. I want to make Kendall upset real quick.
Oh, my.
Kendall.
Yes.
Charlotte's gay, but only for Alexa Bliss.
Well, we got something to bond over.
I tell you what, that sounds terrible, but at the same time, there's definitely a porno about that somewhere.
All right, now it's time.
Dad and daughter share girlfriend of a lifetime.
Nope, gonna go ahead and not search that.
Yeah. Gonna save that search.
All right, hold on. What was it, Paul?
No, I'm not saying it again. I don't want to.
Oh, it's funny.
Share what again? Just I need that part. Dream girl of a lifetime. What do you got for me, Google?
Porn for real.
All right. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. No porn on the entire first page.
Wow.
Rule 34, though. It's out there.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I tell you, look, let's be realistic. The only thing I'm really excited for is for fucking Mock and Kendall's kids to date. That is going to be so funny.
I mean, Mock especially, though.
So funny.
He's going to be so mad. He's going to come off. He's going to try and come off as so intimidating, and we're all just going to laugh.
But he'll have a great mustache by then.
Oh my god!
Who, your daughter?
Oh.
He said, "Aw." I feel bad for your daughter. She's going to have some serious neck hair.
I just actually shaved it today. That's so funny.
Girl's going to have some serious neck hair.
That's very funny. Does Sharon have neck hair?
Probably. I haven't really done any research to back that, but
I don't like the way you said research there, buddy.
Well, anything I said was going to come off strange, so I just tried to keep it scientific.
I mean, research is a very common euphemism for searching porn.
I think what's most important, though, is that Kendall is doing the right thing. He started as a young lad being super interested in trains, and he's going to make sure that his daughter is really interested in trains, which is really going to prolong.
I tell you what, if she likes trains, I can't wait to fucking bully her too. And yes, I said it that way just for Kendall.
Listen, let's see what happens. I think children, a lot of times, they don't like what their parents like. I'd be very surprised if she were a rail fan.
Oh, nice. So basically, Charlotte's going to be really into AEW and fucking boats.
She's going to marry a Curry.
She's going to be Andy Samberg, boats and hose.
I'm in.
Oh, that would be so funny. She comes home with a boyfriend, like, yeah, this is my boyfriend. His name is Mahat Singh.
Kendall, I don't know what he would do. I really don't know what he would do.
Well, it's time to wrap up the show.
So,
Kendall, how was your beer?
You know what the thing is, though? It would be okay because he would be like, oh, thank you for having me in your home. I brought you some of my family's Indian scotch. You'd be like, this kid's all right.
That's pretty funny.
Oh, that's very funny. Kendall, how was your beer?
So I had the Voodoo Vice IPA from the New Belgium Voodoo IPA pack at 7.1%. It is slightly boozy. However, I've kind of been disappointed so far that the two beers I've had have not really. I don't know. To me, this has kind of been something I kind of predicted already. It's too much of the same thing. I really haven't noticed any thing that's that distinctively different from each IPA. It's almost like they went to the well far too many times. This, I guess, has a slight, perhaps fruity finish. Maybe like we'll call it guava to perhaps be interesting, but I don't know. The can art is cooler than the beer is. We'll call it 3.7 would perhaps get again.
Remember that time you mixed mustard with that Long Trail beer?
That was pretty good.
I'm sorry, what?
There was one time our senior year of college that I dared Kendall to put a 3-second squirt of yellow mustard in his beer, and he liked it.
Oh.
Love mustard.
Ugh.
Massey, how was your Casamigos?
Fantastic. I can't wait for the next thing from the Riddler collection.
Great. I birthed another Kendall.
Yeah, but I'm not
at least I'm not as constant.
But Max is like, I can't wait for you to just give me more booze.
Well, it's funny though, Max. You're not as constant, but you're more demanding because it's a specific thing that you want.
In fairness, isn't Kendall Scotch and whiskey?
Kendall will take anything I give him.
That's right. I love it all.
I mean, so will I, but I prefer tequila.
Yeah. I'll see.
What'd you drink?
I had a Pepsi.
How was your Pepsi?
Slightly sweet, carbonated.
Where are they out of?
New York, somewhere in New York.
Right outside of Hartford?
Pepsi, Pepsi Cola, and the Pepsi Globe are registered trademarks of PepsiCo Inc., bottled under the authority of PepsiCo Inc. in Purchase, New York.
Here.
Purchase, huh?
And it's contains carbonated water, high fructose corn syrup, caramel color, sugar, phosphoric acid, caffeine, citric acid, and natural flavor. None of those things are good for you. It's crazy though, because this is how they get you. It's like, oh, hey, this thing has 25% or has over 100% of what you need for added sugar in a day. But it's but hey, it also is only an eighth of your total caloric value. Isn't it crazy how a 20-ounce Pepsi is I know that calories are not they're not all created equal. I totally get that. But isn't it kind of bonkers that a 20-ounce Coke has less calories than a fucking deli side chip bag of Fun Chips or Sun Chips? Isn't that bananas?
Yeah. But you got to look at the percentages in there too.
No, I know. That's what I'm saying. It's not all created equal, but it's just like, fuck. Hey, still watching the game?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, never mind.
Why?
I'll give it to Kendall. I'll never give you a trivia question.
I was just about to say, I got a trivia question because we never did that.
Kendall, I have your trivia question. Can you name the last team to beat the Baltimore Ravens in preseason?
Ooh, I can.
Yeah, I know you can.
Okay.
I'll give you a hint because basically you have 31 options, and that's not fair. So I'll give you a hint. This team lost a Super Bowl in the last 15 years.
Okay. I'm gonna say
Dun 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 dun. Souls.
Tell you what, I laugh every single time. Right outside of Hartford bit is just
so funny.
Always just so funny.
I'm gonna go with the Philadelphia Eagles.
We were so close. What we were actually looking for was the Baltimore Ravens because most critics said they beat themselves that day.
No,
the correct answer, Massey. The correct answer was
the Atlanta Falcons.
Ah, the Atlanta Falcons.
What?
I mean, I was making the joke. I was like, that was within the last 15 years, right?
Yeah, somewhere around there. Actually, in 2015, I think.
I have one more question before we sign off. Before you tell us where they find us, I know Kendall, you got to go, but just real quick, where do you think Jonathan Taylor gets traded? Because he's been given permission to seek a trade.
I don't think he gets traded.
If he gets traded, where do you think he goes?
I saw a thing for Buffalo, and that's what I'm going to go with.
All right, Mass.
I don't think he gets traded. I
no,
think
I'm
he
saying
realizes.
But I'm saying, like, if he gets traded, where do you think he goes? Like, just so you have to pick somebody.
If he gets traded, man, it would have to be a team that's trying to push themselves over the top. You know what? I'm just gonna say it. I could see the Rams being stupid. I don't know. That's hard.
Boom, 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 boom,
Let's see.
boom.
Miami Dolphins, no, that's stupid. Chicago Bears, no, that's stupid. Washington Commanders, maybe.
Bum, 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 bum. So I have.
I don't know. You have an answer? Who do you think?
I do. Dallas.
Would be very funny.
I think it's Dallas. They do the 1-2 punch thing and then let Pollard go.
I don't think that they can afford Jonathan Taylor, though.
It's the NFL. Nobody has more money than Dallas.
Break out the printers.
Jerry Jones will just give everybody strippers. And they'll all be like, yeah, let's bump that salary cap up.
I mean, they could. Next year, though, they have less than $1 million in cap space currently.
The NFL, man.
I know, but that's a lot to overcome.
The NFL, man.
I tell you what, one of my I don't really want to say this because I am afraid somebody else will take them, especially now that I'm saying that. I'm very excited for Deuce Vaughn on the Cowboys. I think he's going to be like the next Sproles. He looks just so electric, and he's a lot of fun to watch. He's also one of the
He has produced my. Kyler Murray's not really hurt. He's just playing running back for the Cowboys.
That's
so
very funny.
So funny. I saw that and I was like, that is the funniest fucking thing I have seen in some time regarding football.
That is very, very funny.
Oh, so funny. Because the other thing too, was Kyler Murray the one that was going to play for the Rangers?
Yes.
Or was that no? Was it? Or was
he was drafted by the A's.
Russell Wilson, yeah.
The Rangers, yeah. Guy's going to do anything he can to play for the Rangers in October.
Very funny.
It starts by playing running back for the Ducks. Oh no, my Achilles! Ow! Or whatever he tore.
Kendall, where can they find us?
Well,
Matthew, you didn't pick a team yet.
What?
Pick a team.
Oh, I said that there were a couple of potentials. The Rams would be stupid enough to do it. I could see the Ravens making a reach for it. The Bills, I guess, could consider it. I would be surprised if the Dolphins made that attempt. I don't think that there's any other teams that are like near the top that need a running back right now, though. Like,
let me tell you something. They don't need it, but Philadelphia will gladly take it.
I don't know that they will, though, because...
No, I'm just making the joke.
Oh, yeah, I know. They'll take it if it's handed out. I don't know that they trade a first for it, but... I mean, if Denver had the picks, I think that they'd trade for it. Who knows? Maybe Houston trades for it.
Maybe.
But, I don't know.
Now you can tell us. Now tell them where they can find us.
Well, they can find us at Facebook, Getting Sports with Drunk, Twitter and Instagram, GSWD_4.
Make sure to use the hashtag GSWD for all your daily uses, whether it is forgetting how to properly prone in Call of Duty or making your way just outside of Hartford.
Like, subscribe, follow, whatever. Do it. Do it already. Damn it.
We're here.
And make sure to subscribe for free for the entire month of August to onlyfans.com/Getting Sports with Drunk.
I put up some topless pics on there.
Yes. But yeah, listen, we are everywhere. Google
Kendall,
Play.
That's where Kendall and Mock are doing all their feet pics.
That's right. If you're into...
You think they're on WikiFeet yet?
Well, I'm certainly not, but he might be. But wherever you get your podcasts, we're there. Google Play, iHeart, blah, blah, blah. You've heard it all before. Listen, people listen to podcasts. Do the search. GSWD, Getting Sports with the Drunk. You will find us.
We are there.
Yeah. Well, gentlemen, it was a pleasure. I enjoyed our rambling as if we weren't even recording. I liked it.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Had a good time.
We'll do more of it. But I think is next week our pre-football show, or is that the week after? It's the week after. So
this is our pre-football show, isn't it? No, next week is the pre-football show.
No, the week after, actually, because next week is the next week.
Doesn't the league kick off September 3rd?
7th?
It kicks off
Is it
after
the 7th?
It's after Labor Day.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So it is 2 weeks. Okay.
Yeah. So when we record on Labor Day, whoever's available, we'll talk about what we're expecting from the season.
Yeah.
But next week, who knows? So until then, I'm your hostess, Cupcake the Riddler.
I'm the Mass Chris Massey.
And the Red of a Red Baron.
Yeah.
Yeah.